Okay, welcome to Puckin Awesome episode 25. It's just me, Cassie, tonight, and Terry. So I'll let her do her introductions in a second. Yeah, words are hard. I'm Abstract Halo on Twitter, Reddit, and I am happy to say I'm a Sabres fan because our last game was a win. Terry.
I'm Terry, T-Rex20 on Reddit and Twitter. I'm a Dallas fan, and they suck. This is a lost year for my teams, all of them.
Jeez. Wow, is it sports are bad?
Boo sports.
Boo sports, okay.
Just in general.
Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff that actually happened this week. Let's just start with today. The Minnesota Wild have activated Josh Harding off injured reserve and unsuspended him, and then stuck him on waivers to send him to Iowa.
How pissed will Minnesota be if he doesn't clear waivers?
Very pissed. The reason he's being sent on waivers is because the conditioning stint, while would bypass the whole waiver situation, is only like 6 games. He hasn't played in a year. He needs more than 6 games.
But at the same time, if somebody picks him up, whoops.
Yeah. And the problem is, and Minnesota got faced with another problem. They also can't send down Kemper without him going through waivers now.
And he'll absolutely get picked up.
Yes, Kemper would get picked up. What had happened was the last game that they played against the Jets, Kemper relieved Backstrom in the third period. The moment Kemper stepped on the ice, his waiver eligibility was gone. He was one game
Which was going to
away.
be gone anyway.
Yeah.
There's no way they couldn't.
But, yeah. I don't think Harding is going to get picked up personally. He hasn't played in a year, and he has MS.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risky pickup.
He's got MS, and he's coming off a broken foot, so...
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, though.
Yeah, it will be very interesting, but... Yeah, it's Harding. He'll probably clear, but 11 o'clock tomorrow will be interesting.
And I read about it. A Wild fan was like, because Dallas doesn't really have a competent backup right now. The Dallas fans want Nil to get him. And the Wild fan said, wouldn't it be funny if they picked up Harding, he ends up doing great, the Stars make the playoffs, play the Wild, and beat the Wild with using Harding.
That'd be.
But the best part was a comment by another Wild fan to him that just said, "What the hell, man?"
Yeah, really. Now, for people curious as to why there was only one game tonight, I know there was a lot of that. Tonight was also the Hall of Fame induction. So
apparently Mike Madonna's speech was amazing, and I really can't wait to watch it tomorrow.
I can't wait to watch Hashtag's speech just because I want to see how bad his English has gotten. His English has never been good, and it has progressively gotten worse.
I just like reading stories about Hasek players ever. He's probably the only player I consider a favorite player who didn't play for Dallas. But somebody tweeted this story talking about that he's very, very competitive.
Yes.
I've heard the pucks to be in the net. You know, like a lot of times in warm-ups or practice, there'll be a bunch of pucks just, piled up in the back of the net. And Hasek didn't like that.
Oh.
And a player knew this, and Hasek was getting ready, in practice for a 3-on-2 that was coming down the ice, and the player was standing kind of next to the goal, and he went to toss the puck into the net. Hasek, this is to the side, so it's his peripheral vision. Hasek sees what's happening, stops paying attention to 3-on-2, turns around, bats the puck out of midair with his stick, and turns back around in time to stop the shot off the 3-on-2.
Mm-hmm. There was it was in one of the videos that the Sabres have been putting out these past couple weeks in honor of Hasek, that he wouldn't even let people score on him in practice, and that the players would get frustrated with that and slam their sticks and break them in practice because of his competitiveness, and he's just so awesome. He's just so awesome.
Well, and I've said before, I remember when I was in high school reading that he would have the players shoot pucks at his head so he could practice deflecting with his helmet, which I immediately started to do. I don't, if you've never worn a helmet before, it can protect you from injury, but it doesn't feel good to get hit in the helmet. It's like sticking your head in a bell and then someone ringing the bell. It's disorienting. But he was, he's a goalie, and you're allowed to do insane things when you're a goalie.
He is, yeah. When you think goalies, you think they're really weird. Hasek is up there with the really weird. He would
I mean, look at
players' pictures. Seriously, look at the cage he wore. That was. But he would put X's on players' faces and say that person will never score tonight, or even get a shot on goal, and he was serious, and it's just.
I would try that. This is where I would try that, and it wouldn't work. That person would be the first person to score on me.
Yeah.
But that's why I was never elite.
Yes, and he almost didn't have a chance, and then the trade happened, and he got to Buffalo and was told, "Hey, do your thing." And that's I mean, he was behind.
Mike Modano went in. Mike Modano went into the Hall of Fame. My favorite player ever. Did a lot for hockey in Texas.
Yes.
Which it's well deserved. There's talk that this might. There's been debate. Is it the best Hall of Fame class ever? Which I think is very, very debatable.
It's close. It's a good Hall of Fame class, though.
Yes, it is.
And I mean, I'm sure the events are still going on, and I'll catch up on them probably tomorrow after, I do work stuff. But the ceremony is actually, there are clips on NHL.com right now on the main page you guys can grab. So. Okay, so let's see. Some other news that happened. Well, there was a trade. So let's just, this week, was it just one or two? The first one was, the one that I know of is that the Blues traded Jordan Leopold to the Jackets for a 5th-round pick in 2016. So,
that's kind of one of those. Okay, sure.
Yeah. 2 hockey people with cancer. Oli Mata's tumor did come back cancerous, but he says he feels fine. So.
Which was expected, right?
Yeah, that was expected. And the Ottawa Senators general manager, Brian Murray, has stage 4 colon cancer, which is spread to the liver and lungs. So,
Say that again, I'm sorry.
He's stage 4 colon cancer, and it has spread to liver and lungs.
Brian Murray.
Yeah, Brian Murray.
Yeah, that's just a horrible. Not a whole lot. I do like other like other teams around the league putting messages up on their boards. That's a nice kind of,
Yeah.
it's a small, the NHL culture, it's a pretty small community.
Yeah, and but on that same topic, I do want to kind of express some displeasure at a Buffalo beat writer.
Oh God.
As you know, Tim Murray is Brian Murray's nephew, and he's the GM for the Sabres. They interviewed him about that, and this writer, he's known for being an asshole in general, insinuated that Tim Murray is going to run straight for Ottawa the moment he dies, kind of.
Yeah, not really time for that kind of speculation.
It's like, and then it's when you see who writes it, you're just kind of like, you're a fucktard. You just like cemented that harder in, you just made it more concrete that I hate you as a writer, but I have to follow you because you're on my goddamn team. He's a baseball writer without a baseball team, so he has to write about.
I wouldn't follow him at all.
I really don't. I just kind of sometimes he has news before the other three, but let's just say this, Minnesota fans, you guys better be grateful you guys have Russo. Just leave it. Just be grateful.
I really like our beat writers. I did unfollow a Star's blog that wasn't like they didn't have credentials or anything. Simply because if you want to be a serious blog and you want to be taken seriously by the fans, don't spend all of your time bitching on Twitter about other teams and not being treated like a professional. I mean, just constant. Like that's why you're not credentialed right there. That's it.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Oh, the other trade was on Tuesday. Canadians acquire Sergei Gonchar in return for Travis Owen from the Stars. That's kind of both teams going, got him.
Listen, and apparently Gonchar has been doing well in Montreal, and I don't even care because he wasn't doing well in Dallas. He was $5.5 million in salary to not do well, and I don't care about Moen. Really, they could have been like, here, have Gonchar. We don't need anything in return. And I would have been okay with that because we brought up John Klingberg
Right.
From the AHL, who has been fantastic. I'm talking when everyone else looks horrible, he looks great.
That's kind of like two of Buffalo's defensemen right now. And the shit show that is the Buffalo Sabres. We have paired up Rasmus Ristolainen and Nikita Zadorov, our two young guys, and the two of them together have been fantastic. Just like amazingly fantastic. Like the night that there was the 6 goals scored on us by Pittsburgh, Zadorov was not on the ice for a single one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I will say one thing that is kind of getting on my nerves is every Stars fan has been searching for the next Zubov since Zubov retired. It's understandable we haven't had defense since Zubov retired. But 2 games into a kid's NHL career, let's not ordain him the next Zubov. Can we wait? Like, he's great. He looks like he has a lot of promise. He absolutely looks like he belongs. But he's played 3 games. I really hope he becomes, like, our next star defenseman. But, like, maybe give it some time.
Yeah.
You can't predict a player's career out of 3 games.
No. No.
And it started happening after 1, really.
Oh, so I just saw some other news that wasn't stat. It's on the stat side. And defenseman too. Nathan Horton is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now with the decision he has to make.
God, that's a horrible situation.
He has to. Right now, he's having issues like even bending over and doing basic things because of his back. And there's a surgery that would fix that, but it would end his career.
Right.
So he's kind of like rock hard place. with that. And I mean, personally, I think his overall well-being should be more
I mean,
important.
yeah, what are the chances he's going to heal without it and play again?
Yeah.
Like, and I will say to people who get mad at players who like don't want to take bridge contracts and want to go for the big contract right away, this is why.
Yes.
Because this can happen. And you don't have another skill. You know?
Unless you went to college.
Yeah. And that's rare in the NHL.
It's getting better.
It is getting better, but it's rare. You know, when you train your whole life to do this one thing that is not transferable to anything else outside of the hockey world,
pretty much.
What are you going to do except hang on as long as you can?
Yeah, and I think, I'm pretty sure the organization would give him a scouting job or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just, it's a really shitty situation to be in. Even as like a normal person, you have to make this decision. So it's not the best.
Yeah.
Looking at the things, we haven't had any questions. It's a quiet night. It's good. You want to talk about that Rangers Penguins game?
That's one of those games I'm so mad I wasn't watching. That's insane.
Yeah, I was watching the Sabres game. I'm not gonna lie. I know what I was watching that night, but I think when looking back at the call and everything, it was the right call.
I am glad. So, for those who don't know, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was scored for the Rangers in the shootout. And it ended the shootout, teams left, and went back to their locker rooms. Apparently, Fleury had half his equipment off. And they reviewed it, and it hit the post, came back onto the player's stick, and the player popped it back in the goal, as anyone would. But a puck can't reverse movement, and then the player hit it again. It can bounce off the goalie and go in. Like, that's legitimate, but it can't bounce back to the player and have him put it in. So they called the teams back onto the ice and said, sorry, guys, we're not done. They continued the shootout, and the Penguins won.
Yes. And it was...
Not really a lot you can be mad about, but it's kind of like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's sucky, but it's funny a little bit. I do like the fact that they did go back and do the right call. That's important in this. The refs kind of were like, oh, hey, yeah. That's fucked up. But here's a little controversy. What's going on? So calls for goaltender interference in the league have been a little hit and miss. They've been horrible. Okay, so here's the thing. It was a game against the Penguins. The Wild had scored, or no, what was it? Somebody had scored, but goaltender interference had happened because somebody had pushed Granlund, like a Penguins player had pushed Granlund into Greiss. So they waved it off.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, a Wild player's fault, but they waved it off. And then they spent 2 minutes reviewing
that happened a lot.
Unreviewable goal. Well, then in a game against, I don't remember who it was against. I think it was Montreal. Montreal had a similar situation happen, but they got to keep their goal.
No, it's terrible. They need to make
it was like this
to make it reviewable, and they need to make it obvious. If you push the opposing team's player into your goalie, and the opposing team scores, well, that's your own damn fault, because how fucking stupid are you to push your own player into your goalie?
Exactly. But, and a lot of people weren't saying, there was a lot of argument on Reddit in the thread about, like, why Wild fans were pissed off about that particular goal. And it wasn't that they were pissed off that it was a good goal. They were pissed off because they had a goal just like that waved off a game before. So
Yeah.
it's not a case of, yeah, that was a good goal, because they're all like, yeah, this is a good goal, but if it's a good goal here, it should be a good goal throughout the league, and that's the problem. And they need to fix that, and they need to make it reviewable, and not spend 2 minutes reviewing a non-reviewable goal.
Right. That's the best part. Well, that wasn't reviewable, but we decided.
We reviewed it anyway. But
Yeah, and then there's some that it just takes a while. Like in the Stars Kings game, which the Stars have this habit of if you wave a goal off, they get pissed and score 30 seconds later.
right.
The puck went up into the netting, and the lighting at Staples Center has apparently changed this season, and it makes it more difficult to see the netting. And I guess the players complained that they couldn't see the puck. They lost the puck when it went up high. And so they added LED lights, but it's still difficult.
Right.
So it hit the netting, came back down. A Kings player, I think Richard, saw it, hit the netting, stopped playing. There was no whistle. Jamie Benn kept playing and ended up scoring. Several seconds passed with no whistle. The refs then reviewed it and waved it off because it hit the netting. And they actually said they didn't come from Toronto. They said a linesman had said on the ice that it hit the netting. But here's my thing, and I'm not upset about it. Whatever, it did appear to hit the netting. How long do you let the play go?
It should be blown dead right away.
Before you call and they didn't notice it right away until after the goal was scored and play was stopped and somebody said, "Hey, I think that might have hit the netting." So how far back can you go to reverse a call, you know?
I was always under the impression that if there's a stoppage in play for goal, whatever, and then they start back up, you can't go back.
They didn't start back up.
Okay, so that's what I think
they
it
did
is.
not. So the fact that play continued for several. Like at some point, like you've got to stop play. Like.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, this is really touchy and stupid, and I really would like them to figure this out. But hey, who knows? I don't know. The roughing has been horrid. If you even like saw the amount of penalties in last night's Wild Jets game, it was pretty outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was something like 19 penalties were called. 4 of them on Suter. One of them, Ballard got an embellishment call because he got hit in the head and he moved his head back. He, like, snapped his head back. He got an embellishment. We actually think after review, the embellishment came because he told the ref to fuck off. Because as they announced the embellishment call, everybody clearly saw him say, "Fuck you." By the way, that was like penalty number 16 or 17 at that point. So,
wow,
it was getting real chippy in that game. But yeah. So let's see what other news was there, because we don't have questions. I like questions. Questions are great. Oh, Connor McDavid.
Oh, what?
The hand
I'm
injury.
trying to reserve judgment because he's a kid. But are you serious?
Okay, so this is my... Okay, so for those who, for some reason, have been under a rock, the Connor McDavid, the projected first overall draft pick, got into a fight, broke his hand, out until December 24th. Somebody on Reddit had summed it up perfectly, and it was pretty much, this is a 17-year-old kid who was getting pushed and chirped and just pissed off by somebody. A player was pissing him off, and he wanted to fight the person who was pissing him off. This wasn't a case of, I need to fight for my pride or whatever. It was, I'm pissed.
Oh, yeah. This is the case of a 17-year-old boy.
Yes.
I think people forget that hockey players are human, and a lot of them are really young. And how smart were you when you were 17?
Yeah. And if you're 17 years old and you're being followed around and being chirped at and slashed and cross-checked and all of this, you're going to get frustrated.
I mean, it is frustrating from a fan's point of view, because, especially from an adult's point of view, because you look at that and like, you were on pace to break records. You're going to be the #1 draft pick, and now you're missing a month and a half.
Yep.
But at the same time, you just have to remind yourself, okay, it's a kid. He'll learn from it, hopefully, and learn to not let his emotions get the best of him.
Mm-hmm. And it's, again, he's a kid. I mean, I'm not mad at him for what he did. He's still going to get picked first overall. That's the thing of it. And he'll still probably actually get to play World Juniors now. So that's just how that happens. Let's see what other news we got. Last night. Oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Sharks goalie Troy Grosnick, I probably butchered his last name, whatever, made 45 saves to shut out the Hurricanes in his first NHL start. So, that's a good way to start your career.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'm never happy for a Sharks win, but good for him.
Yeah.
The picture of his dad afterward wiping his eyes, that was cute. Dad was so happy he was crying.
Yep.
There's been some injuries. Valentin Shushkin for the Stars is having hip surgery that will put him out for 4 months. So that sucks. He's barely played this. I think he played one game. He got hurt in preseason with a groin injury, came back for a game, went right back on injured reserve, and then they announced that he was going to be out with hip surgery. Trevor Van Riemsdyk for Chicago got hit by a puck, took a puck to the leg in the game last night, and they have put him on. All of them are saying is it's bad, and they put him on long-term IR.
Oof, already. Ouch.
Yeah, like immediately. So that's probably not good. Makes me wonder if he didn't break a bone.
Josh Georges has a knee injury of some sort and is out for some time. That's like all we get for, information. Another aspect of players just being human and us forgetting this. Phil Kessel pissed off Toronto media, which is easy to do, by the way. On Saturday night, the Leafs lost to Buffalo 6-2. And the reporters wanted to talk to Kessel and get his thoughts on it, and he told them to get away from him. This is the man who doesn't like talking to the media on a good day.
Which this goes back to what I said before. You tend to forget that hockey players are people. Yes. I do think talking to the media comes with the job, but not every single night. And the media, particularly media in cities like Toronto, take it as like a personal affront to them. Like he was looking at them and saying, you, as a person, I don't like you and I don't want to talk to you. Not, listen, I've had a really bad game and I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to deal with the questions about it. Tonight sucked. I just want to go home. I mean, can you imagine if you had a bad day at work and then you had all these other people come up to you from the outside and start asking you about your bad day at work? That would suck.
People you don't like talking to on a good day, even when you're having a good day.
Right.
He's never been a media person, and when he does talk to the media, he only answers in cliches.
Which is
So
entertaining.
it is entertaining, but Kessel, like, if you want like entertaining sound bites, don't talk to Kessel. He's kind of
Right. Which is what makes the media seem petty about this. Their reaction to it makes it seem petty. Because they're acting like they were deprived of good quotes. No, you weren't.
you were gonna
You
get
were
shitty
deprived of, well, the team has to pull together. Like, let's be real.
pretty much, and it's I mean the loss was in the night of the loss. Kessel was actually probably the best player for the Leafs, and he was out there trying. It was the rest of the team that kind of forgot how to hockey. And I say that
Yeah.
lightly. Because I was okay. So I being how I am, and I'm all aboard the whole let's tank and get a good draft pick and all that. But there are some teams I enjoy watching the Sabres beat, and the Leafs are one of them because they are a rival. And who doesn't like, well, beating their rival 6-2? So I was a little happy about that, but I want to check something. So, Kessel doesn't even have a letter on his chest.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to, because I saw a lot of people saying, well, it's your job as a team leader.
He's looked at as a team leader, but he's not officially a team leader.
No, he's not. He scores goals for them. That's kind of his job.
Right.
It's pretty simple. Let's see here. Some college news. Boston College has lost 4 straight for the first time in 10 years.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
Yep. Other bad college news. The University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs swept the Golden Gophers. It's like the first time since, well, it's been a long time. Oh, the last time was in 2009. And then the last time in the Twin Cities, it was in 2009, and 2004 is when they did it in Duluth. So it's not, that doesn't happen ever, and it happened. But, yeah, that was some bad news too. The Michigan Tech is still undefeated, so that's also happening.
I really wish I had a college hockey team near me. I feel like that would be a great atmosphere.
Just watching the games on TV and stuff are like you can just feel the crowd and the chants and then the marching band, well, pep band because they're not really marching anywhere, they're sitting there, but the band and all of that, it's a really great atmosphere to listen to it, and it's really.
We have is where I live. We have a club team, but they play at midnight on Fridays and Saturdays, and I'm old. And
so you're sleeping then.
They do sell out. It's a very small. It's literally like the public ice rink, and one side has some wooden bleachers.
Right.
They do sell out, but quite often it is. I've gone to one game, it's packed, and everyone is trash because it's college town and it's Friday and Saturday night. So they get drunk and they go watch hockey and they cheer when there are hits. But to have a contender, a team that played at like normal times against teams, that would be, I feel like, really cool. I would have season tickets.
And if we were closer to the cities and not poor, I'm sure we would probably go. We wouldn't get season tickets because we can't afford them for the Gophers, but we would probably go to a few more games. But we're not. I mean, we might consider wild season tickets if we were closer to the cities, but yeah. Other sad news in hockey this week. I don't know why I completely forgot about this, but a 14-year-old boy collapsed after an open ice hit in Brainerd, Minnesota. He was 14 playing a bantam game in a tournament. Right now they're doing a thing through the state called Play for Patrick. They're putting little badges on most of the bantam teams. Jerseys.
That's just horrifying. Do they know what happened?
They haven't. They said that they don't want to release any more information until they have, looked at everything and all of that stuff. But it doesn't look like there's history of health issues. So.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, there was a video. I don't want it to be a video. Please don't be a video. He died of. He had a heart condition, a heart defect.
Yeah, that's usually what it is in kids like that. They're doing a lot of schools now are instituting physicals to try to prevent this from happening and try to catch these heart defects.
Yes. The thing is, bantam hockey in some places isn't monitored by the schools, so it's kind of a at your own risk type of thing.
Right. Yeah. I was using it as an example.
Yeah, it could be something to look into. I don't know if this is sad or weird but there's been an outbreak in the NHL. Mumps.
Which is apparently very serious in adults.
Yes, and I want to point out
something. It can be deadly.
And I do want to say something. Everybody who has contracted mumps in this outbreak and throughout the players has been vaccinated as a child. So this is where you kind of sit there and go, where's our herd immunity going? Herd immunity, please come back. Because the vaccines will wear off. Medicine wears off. It's just how science and shit happens. And everybody's body is different. But that's when, because everybody is supposed to be getting vaccinated. Everyone has it.
Well, and this is where, and it is the biggest population in the U.S. of non-vaccinated children, with parents aren't vaccinating their kids, is in California.
And that's particularly in that area, too.
Which is where the outbreak happened. Don't listen to Jenny McCarthy. Get your damn kids vaccinated. Or put them in a bubble. One or the other.
Many teams have actually offered MMR booster shots to players at this point.
I take it, hell yeah.
I don't blame them.
And the players are absolutely banned from going into any arena.
Yes. They are quarantined.
Do not let this spread. And you have to think how quickly it would spread through the NHL. So it's in Anaheim. Minnesota travels to Anaheim. Minnesota players get it. Minnesota plays, Toronto. Toronto player gets it. Toronto plays New York. I mean, it would just spread like wildfire.
Yep. And for the record, currently only some Blues players, Anaheim players, and Wild players have had it.
Right.
A couple of Wild players are actually out because of it. It's it's just really bad.
Yes.
Scandella actually had it, and he came back in his first game last night and scored the overtime winning goal. So, power of the mumps, apparently. Look out with Barry. But yeah, just if you haven't gotten your shots, go get your shots.
Yes. Absolutely. Vaccines are important.
And most places will give you them again, just in case. just for safekeeping. Sure, we'll give you more.
I mean, what's it going to hurt at this point?
Yes, and on the thing of everyone saying, well, the rise of autism, I'm going to tell you something. Autism has special benchmarks. People are more aware of the developmental benchmarks required or needed for a child because of the rise of technology and information. So now more parents are going, well, my kid's not doing this by the age of 3. Oh well, something's fucked up. We got to look into this because before they didn't realize that their kid should be doing that by the age of 3. So things
Right.
going undiagnosed, hence not many diagnoses of ASD or autism spectrum disorders. Yeah, anything. But now, more technology, more knowledge, more diagnosis. Oh my god, it's brilliant. Makes sense. Look, I just applied logic to that. And, I go to school for this stuff.
Silly, don't be logical.
Yeah, never mind the fact I'm going to school for it as well. But it's, yeah. But yeah, get your shots, people. Get your shots. Trying to see what else there was. Rick Jenneret called his first, he called the first period of a game since being diagnosed with throat cancer in July. So he called one period of the game on Saturday night. He will call 2 periods of a game this week, and then hopefully he'll be back into calling full games.
Which is awesome.
Yes. He sounds a little rusty, but, it was still great to hear him. He actually got to call a power play goal and a shorthanded goal in his 1 period, so it was great. And Gordie Howe's son has said that Gordie Howe's health has gone pretty much south.
This is a sad week in hockey.
It really is a really sad week, and I think they said they were considering sticking him in hospice at this point. For Howe.
We don't need to say. I don't want to phrase it sticking him in hospice.
Well, yeah,
that's a very good thing.
It's a great thing. It's when you go into that point, you just kind of like, oh. But for what it's worth, he's 86.
Yes, and he's had a very good life.
Yes. The NHL has admitted that an LA expansion is possible.
I'm sorry, did you say LA expansion?
Or not LA, Las Vegas. Why am I...
I was going to say, good lord, why? Yes, of course Las Vegas expansion is possible. Every league has been talking about putting a team in Vegas for years.
Yep.
Hey, it's snowing. Sorry, I just got a glimpse out my window, and it is once again snowing because God hates me.
Yeah.
I am in the minority thinking that a Las Vegas team wouldn't be a complete disaster. People seem to think that Vegas doesn't have any citizens.
They have 2 million citizens in their metro area.
There have to be people there to work at all the tourist things.
Yeah. There's people there, and it's a nice drive.
There. And I am of the thinking, if you do it right, if you have the right ownership group, and you use the right marketing techniques, hockey can succeed anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's people, if there's a decent population.
Yep. I think so
it would work.
See.
Thinking about expansion drafts terrifies me.
Oh God.
I don't even like to consider it. I start to have anxiety issues when people start speculating over who you'd protect and who you'd let go.
Right.
Maybe we should have kept Gonchar to have so much to leave unprotected.
Yeah. But I'm okay with it happening, and I want the other one to be either in Portland or Seattle.
I'd like to see Kansas City.
Kansas City is an option, but I think Portland and Seattle are one of those two is actually the more viable option thing that's going to happen. I found good news.
Okay, sweet goodness.
Okay, the Air Canada Centre is going to host the inaugural CWHL All-Star Game. And if you are in the Toronto area,
And it's
those
free
tickets are free.
tickets. That would be. I would love to go to that. If I lived in Toronto or near Toronto, I would absolutely go.
Yes, and Sportsnet is, I believe, going to broadcast it on cable. So it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's good. The GMs are going to talk about possibly doing what the AHL does in overtime for the NHL in the future, which is they do 4-on-4 and then they do 3-on-3.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
It's reduced.
There's not gonna be a perfect solution because you can't just have the games go on forever.
Right.
It's an 82 game season. It's already tiring. You can't have the games go on forever.
Yes. And
so there is no perfect solution.
Yeah, and that's the thing people don't seem to get with the whole shootout. It's like, I don't want the game to end on a, gimmick. Well, guess what? The game has to end. This is the play. The reason the playoffs doesn't have the shootout is because they're bringing in lots and lots and lots of money. The atypical, they're not getting.
There's an end in sight. Once you get to the playoffs, there's an end in sight.
Yeah, in a regular season game, nobody wants to watch the Hurricanes play the Sabres in like a triple overtime in a regular season. No, end that shit.
Jesus.
End that, because nobody wants to watch it. Nobody really wants to watch that in the first place. It's just like, we've already watched, a full game. Can we not watch like another one? Because this is not good. That's the point of the shootout, is to get things ended quick. Also,
and I'm also in the minority that I don't hate the shootout.
I don't hate it.
I'm kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Pretty much. But, okay, so there was a conversation with the NHL front office. The NHL is pretty much saying they're done with the Olympics.
Totally understandable, but I don't like it.
That's going to go over with the Players Association like a lead balloon.
Yes.
It's just not going to work. And I think, and the thing is, I think they know this, but they don't care. And that's the problem.
Well, and you have to, if you look at it from the NHL's point of view, it is a huge break in the season. Players come back tired. Players might get injured. We had some serious injuries in the last Olympics. Yep. And can you imagine how pissed you'd be? You're a coach, you're a GM, you've put this team together, you're making a playoff push, and your star player gets hurt not playing for you. Yep. That's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, and I can understand why they want to get rid of it, but I just don't think it's going to go over well.
Yeah, it's not going to go over well at all.
Other league news, the NHL also hasn't reached an agreement with the Kings on the Voinov cap situation.
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
As you guys, if you don't realize what's going on, the only people getting punished right now are the Kings. Voinov is on a paid vacation.
And yeah, the Kings are screwed because they were up against the cap. Then no one knows how long Voinov is going to be suspended for. Which I kind of want the NHL to be able to say, okay, you can basically put him on the equivalent of the long-term IR, so you don't have to worry about his salary, simply because they're doing the right thing with, in my opinion, with suspending him until an investigation is complete. And I don't want them to not do that next time or to change their policy because of the salary cap and hurting teams.
Yeah. Yeah, my whole thought on it is if if say this player gets injured and that they're up against the cap and the player gets injured and they're out for a while, well, they've got long-term injured reserve.
Right.
And in this situation, they kind of don't have anything.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a little weird. They haven't figured something out.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, it's not.
I am kind of wondering, like, exactly how long is it going to take?
There were some rumors.
Like,
there were some rumors that he wasn't cooperating with the investigation. There were some that he was.
I mean, if I were him, I'd absolutely be cooperating because I'd want to get back out on the ice as soon as possible.
Right.
Provided that me cooperating doesn't hurt my legal defense.
Right. And he hasn't had a court date yet. He hasn't even been formally charged with anything.
Yeah.
So it's not a. This is a situation where, while the NHL is kind of doing the right thing, they're also kind of not.
I don't think Los Angeles should be punished for having a player that is accused of a crime.
Yeah. Unless it's a player it's a player that has a history of it.
Right, that's what I was just gonna say. Maybe if you sign, like, maybe, the second or third time a guy gets suspended, then you have to take his cap hit because you should have known that this was a possibility when you signed him.
Right.
But that's not the case here, and they're kind of getting screwed.
Oh, so this is some interesting news. I'm just browsing through. Two female referees worked a men's game.
Oh, that's interesting.
In the SPHL, the same league that Shannon Sabato's plays in.
Really, there's no reason a woman couldn't be a ref.
Right.
There are reasons women can't play in the NHL. Mainly that physiologically women are not as strong as men.
Right.
But there's absolutely no reason a woman couldn't be a ref.
Yep.
You're not checking players as a ref. And I do think, it's frustrating to see the lack of women in front offices and in roles like referees. You also have to remember that women's sports hasn't been a thing for a very long time.
No.
I'm 30, and my generation is probably the first to grow up with the idea that women's sports were normal instead of the exceptions, as in, your youth women, girl sports.
Yeah.
Because while Title IX was signed into law in the 70s, it didn't until the mid to late 80s when there was a lawsuit about it. It kind of sat on the books for a while.
Yeah.
So it will take time. You talk to a lot of the pro players, like for national teams in hockey and soccer, in a lot of different sports, they played on boys' teams growing up.
Right.
And that's only just beginning to change with like the 18, 19, 20-year-old crop. There were competitive girls' teams when they were kids.
Yep. and actually competitive girls teams. What's interesting is I've actually seen more coverage on the females, the ladies' high school team here in town over the men's. I mean, and
That's
the men have played one game and the ladies have
great.
played two, but the big headline wasn't the guys. So we're making strides.
Obviously, as a female athlete, I think that's wonderful. I think women deserve, especially like the girls teams, deserve just as much attention as the men's team. You know, I went to a women's basketball game tonight for UK Baylor, and was it as crowded as a men's game? No, but they put it. It was played in Rep Arena, which the women don't normally play there. They have their own arena. And there was a decent turnout, and the fans were really into it, and it's nice to see.
It's good. And, you know, for the for this the high school sports thing, I just think it's great. And I mean, it may have to do with the fact that the team has done incredibly well in the first two games. But like the recent headline for uh like high school sports in this area is the Blue Jacket girls 6 will be tested on the road. It's an article on the girls team, not the guys, and the guys play the same night as the girls do. It's amazing. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited. I'm actually going to try and make it to the game, so it's even going to be better. But
Yeah.
so it's going to be, it's good. It's growing. I mean, I live in an area where the sport really can't grow much more, but
Yeah. That's a good point. How much bigger can hockey get in Minnesota?
yeah. But just to see it being the women and the ladies, just having the focus.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely good to see.
Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? Nope, just people kind of posting pictures about the Sabres Hurricanes triple overtime.
I saw that. That's good.
Yeah, that's about right. It's pretty bad. But do you have any other news or anything? Because I kind of
I do not.
scraping for news here and I couldn't find anything else. The game. There was one game tonight. It was Tampa beat New York Rangers 5-1. Damn.
Well, I guess Callahan did all right in his return to New York, huh?
I guess so. Just gonna look at the quick box score here, and yeah, Callahan scored 2 goals. The only person to score for the Rangers was St. Louis, so
Oh God.
there's that. So I don't.
Do you ever think
Yeah.
that San Luis just sits at home at night thinking, how can I make Tampa fans hate me more?
I don't
What
think
could I possibly do?
Yeah, and Stamkos had a goal and 2 assists tonight, so Stamkos is being, well, good, like he always is.
And that's it. Quiet night.
Yep, quiet
Monday
night.
Monday Night Football plus the Hockey Hall of Fame means not a lot of hockey going on.
Yep, so next week will probably be more newsy. So, but I guess we can wrap this up. It was a quiet night. Sorry for the late start due to, life. Sorry about that. So you can catch this episode, every other episode on the YouTube channel, on the website at ourhockeycast.com, the subreddit r/ourhockeycast, the Twitter, etc., etc. Shows that'll be coming on, Crashing the Continents, Halter Thursday, After Hour, D4, and Wooden Ball. So those are always great. Oh, we did get a question just now. Okay, we'll quickly answer it. Who was the first coach to be fired this year?
Oh, I have no clue.
Carlisle?
They're not going to fire him.
I don't know.
What?
Cora replied to it.
Carlisle?
No, she put too easy, but yeah, Carlisle. He's on thin ice.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to, like, part of me wonders if the Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment Group isn't, like, doing some sort of social experiment. Like, how much can they take before they snap?
Well, okay, so in Buffalo on Saturday night after that game, there were like 3 or 4 Maple Leaf jerseys and some scarves on the ice.
I know. The scarves is the best part. Like, those are the people who are like, you know, this jersey was like $150, but hey, the scarf was $15. Here we go.
Well, okay, so the downside of that is they were also throwing beer and trash, and you know, you would think this I could excuse it as a one-off, but they did this shit last season too. Like fans threw trash on the ice. Don't do that, especially if you're not in your own arena. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's shitty.
And a Let's Go Raptors chant started out in the arena.
I know, in Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Which I'm not surprised that Canadian fans, or Toronto fans outnumber Buffalo fans because people jack their season tickets and the prices of those up for Toronto games. Because even with the jacked up prices, it's still cheaper than going to a game in Toronto.
Right.
So it's just whatever. So yeah, but okay. So yeah, that was an easy question. So we'll finish this up. Okay, so yeah, I went over where you can find us. I have no other news really or anything else. Just hockey was good this weekend, sort of. College wasn't so good, but
Hockey was not good this weekend. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not good. It will never be good again.
I like sports. Sports was nice.
Sports are horrible, and people who are sports fans are stupid.
Okay, and so I am Cassie, Abstract Halo on social media, and all of that. Reminding you that to be good to yourself.
And I'm Terry. I'm T-Rex20 on Twitter and on Reddit.
So we will catch you guys next week. Night.